fighting against highly armed and strategically superior M23 rebels who are supported by the reckless president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame.
Abasirikare bacu bagiye kurwana n'abarwanyi kabuhariwe mu myitozo ihambaye kandi bafite ibikoresho karahabutaka. Abo bakaba ari umutwe mu 23 uterwa inkunga na perezida w'u Rwanda Paul Kagame.
Our government has deliberately misled the people. The reality is that our soldiers are fighting an enemy that has better weaponry, better resources and better intelligence.
Guverinoma ya Afrika y'Epfo yayobeje Rwanda iruhisha ukuri ko abasirikare bacu bagiye kurwana n'umwanzi barusha intwaro akabarusha ubushobozi ndetse n'uburyo buhambaye bw'ubutasi.
While the rebels possess advanced military equipment, our soldiers are sent to battle without drones, without fighter jets, and without critical military assets.
Mu gihe uyu mutwe mu 23 wibitseho intwaro n'ibindi bikoresho bya gisirikare bigezweho, abasirikare bacu boherejwe ku rugamba badafite indege z'intambara zitagira abapilote, badafite kajugujugu za gisirikare ndetse batanafite muri rusange ibindi bikoresho bya gisirikare biboneye. Imyitwarire igayitse y'ingabo za Afrika y'Epfo kandi yatumye zigaragaza ubugwari n'ubunyanda byatumye umutwe wa 23 ubasha kubafata bugwate mu birindiro byabo mbere yuko babasha kwirwanaho nkuko byari bikwiye.
Political considerations were often overshadowed military necessities, limiting our forces' effectiveness.
Uburyo abanyepolitiki bacu babyitwayemo byabaye imbogamizi ku gisirikare cyacu bituma kidahabwa ibyangombwa nkenerwa bikuye ngo zibashe kwitwara neza ku rugamba.
The South African National Defence Force soldiers who passed away in the last few weeks have still not arrived home, with several delays being blamed, which is unacceptable. The families of these fallen soldiers are left waiting, grieving and struggling for answers.
Abasirikare ba Afrika y'Epfo bapfuye mu byumweru bike bishize na n'ubu ntabwo baragera mu gihugu cyabo cy'amavuko. Ibi byose ni ibintu bidakwiye kwihanganirwa mu gihe imiryango y'abasirikare bacu bapfuye ikomeje kuba mu gahinda n'umubabaro udashira bakomeza gutegereza igihe bazabonera igisubizo.
The families of these fallen soldiers are left waiting, grieving and struggling for answers. Our troops be brought home immediately. We cannot allow more lives to be lost in a senseless conflict while corrupt politicians continue to loot and mismanage our defense resources. Bring them back home now.
Oya rwose ni mukora ibishoboka byose abasirikare bacu bose bacyurwe vuba bataye muri Afrika y'Epfo. Ntabwo twakwemera ko ubuzima bwabo bukomeza gutekerera mu ntambara ishingiye ku makimbirane adasobanutse. Mu gihe abayobozi bacu bamunzwe na ruswa bo bakomeje kurigisa no gupfusha ubusa umutungo w'inzego zacu za gisirikare. Mubazane mu rugo vuba rwose ni mubazane vuba na bwangu.
Waba ushaka gushora imari muri YouTube ukinjiza gatubutse, waba usanzwe ubikora ariko ukeneye ibanga ryo kugwiza umusaruro, dutanga ubujyanama n'ubufasha mu bya tekinike ku bibazo byose bijyanye na YouTube channels. Tukanigira abantu umushinga w'ibyo bashobora gushyira kuri YouTube zabo zikababyarira umusaruro ufatika. Ku bindi bisobanuro twandikire cyangwa uduhamagare kuri telefone ubona kuri screen yawe.
Reka ngusubize kandi ngushimire gukurikiye Ukwezi TV, udukurikiye uri mu Rwanda mu bice by'u Rwanda bitandukanye cyangwa se namwe mudukurikiye muri mu mahanga mu bihugu bitandukanye hirya no hino ku isi. Mu gihe bizwi ko mu mpera z'icyumweru gishize ari bw'imirambo y'abasirikare ba Afrika y'Epfo ndetse n'abihugu birimo Tanzania na Malawi bapfiriye muri Repubulika ya Demokarasi ya Kongo baciye mu Rwanda bakajyanwa mu bihugu byabo ndetse bikaba ari nako byagenze ku basirikare bari barafashwe bugwate n'ingabo za M23 bakajyanwa mu kigo cya Rumangabo hariya mu mujyi wa Goma. Kugeza ubu ntibiramenyekana impamvu baba baratinze kugera mu bihugu byabo. Umunyepolitiki utavuga rumwe n'ubutegetsi bwa Afrika y'Epfo akaba n'umudepite mu nteko ishinga amategeko y'iki gihugu ni Julius Malema. Kuri wa mbere yavuze ijambo rigaragaza uburakari ndetse n'ukuri kwinshi kugaragaza uburyo mu by'ukuri abanyafrika y'Epfo bababajwe n'abasirikare babo baguye muri Repubulika ya Demokarasi ya Kongo. Ni ijambo yavuze agaragaza uburakari bwinshi ndetse agaragaza uburyo inzego zitandukanye z'iki gihugu zamunzwe na ruswa. Yagaragaje kandi uburyo inzego za politike za Afrika y'Epfo zabeshye abaturage ko aba basirikare bagiye mu butumwa bw'amahoro muri Kongo kandi mu by'ukuri baragiye mu mirwano yaje gutuma bahasiga ubuzima. Yanagaragaje uburyo izi ngabo zitari zifite ibikoresho n'imyitozo ihagije ari nabyo byatumye bakubitwa umusubirizo n'abarwanyi bayo mu 23.
Speaker, would like to begin by sending our condolences to the families of the 14 members of the South African National Defence Force who recently lost their lives in the DRC.
Nyakubahwa Perezida w'Inteko Ishinga Amategeko, ndashaka gutangira nihanganisha imiryango y'abasirikare 14 b'igihugu cya Afrika y'Epfo baherutse gutakariza ubuzima muri Repubulika ya Demokarasi ya Kongo.
We cannot continue to refer to them through a number because they've got names.
Ntabwo dushobora gukomeza kubavuga gusa mu mibare kubera ko n'abasirikare bafite amazina yabo bwite, reka mbubahe babwira n'amazina yabo.
We salute Staff Sergeant William Edikola. We salute Staff Sergeant Mulatley Ishmael Mulatley. We salute Staff Sergeant Swatani Theophilus Sepe, Corporal Matumi Justice Malesa, Corporal Renae Namavulani, Lance Bombardier Itumeleng McDonald Moreo, Lance Corporal Zeke Moffat Molapo, Lance Corporal Metsi Stensley Rashishi, Rifleman Svatani Richard Chokwe, Rifleman Derek Maluleke, Rifleman Tsidiso Andres Mabele, Rifleman Calvin Louis Moari, Rifleman Muketi Joseph Mobe, Private Peter Jacobus Strido.
Aya mazina amaze kubabwira n'amapeti yabo nibo basirikare ba Afrika y'Epfo baherutse kugwa mu mirwano muri Repubulika ya Demokarasi ya Kongo.
The reckless deployment of South African troops in the DRC under the South African Development Community SADC mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, SAMI DRC, which began in December 2023, was presented to us as a peacekeeping effort. However, the truth is that our soldiers are not there to maintain peace. They are engaged in a direct combat.
Uburyo buteye inkeke abasirikare ba Afrika y'Epfo boherejwe muri Repubulika ya Demokarasi ya Kongo biciye mu butumwa bw'umuryango w'ubukungu w'ibihugu byo muri Afrika y'Amajyepfo. Ubu butumwa by'umwihariko bwiswe SAMI DRC bwo muri Repubulika ya Demokarasi ya Kongo bwatangiye mu kwezi k'Ugushyingo 2023. Bashaka kutubeshya batwereka ko ari ubutumwa bwo kubungabunga amahoro, nyamara ukuri guhari nuko abasirikare bacu batoherejwe hariya kubungabunga amahoro, ahubwo bashoye mu mirwano mu buryo bweruye.
Fighting against highly armed and strategically superior M23 rebels who are supported by the reckless president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame.
Abasirikare bacu bagiye kurwana n'abarwanyi kabuhariwe mu myitozo ihambaye kandi bafite ibikoresho karahabutaka. Abo bakaba ari umutwe mu 23 uterwa inkunga na Perezida w'u Rwanda Paul Kagame.
Our government has deliberately misled the people. The reality is that our soldiers are fighting an enemy that has better weaponry, better resources and better intelligence.
Guverinoma ya Afrika y'Epfo yayobeje rubanda iruhisha ukuri ko abasirikare bacu bagiye kurwana n'umwanzi barusha intwaro akabarusha ubushobozi ndetse n'uburyo buhambaye bw'ubutasi.
While the rebels possess advanced military equipment, our soldiers are sent to battle without drones, without fighter jets and without critical military assets.
Mu gihe uyu mutwe mu 23 wibitseho intwaro n'ibindi bikoresho bya gisirikare bigezweho, abasirikare bacu bo boherejwe ku rugamba badafite indege z'intambara zitagira abapilote, badafite kajugujugu za gisirikare ndetse batanafite muri rusange ibindi bikoresho bya gisirikare biboneye.
They are left vulnerable, fighting a war they cannot win, all because of the failures of this government.
Byarangiye batesekeye barwana intambara batashoboraga gutsinda, byose bitewe n'imikorere mibi guverinoma yacu.
The recent M23 offensive on Goma has highlighted significant shortcomings in the South African National Defence Force deployment.
Urebye uburyo umutwe mu 23 uherutse kwigarurira umujyi wa Goma, byagaragaje igisuzuguriro ku ngabo z'igihugu cyacu cya Afrika y'Epfo zoherejwe mu mutumwa muri Repubulika ya Demokarasi ya Kongo.
Intelligence failures were evident as the SNDF lacked timely and accurate information to anticipate the M23 movements, leaving our forces unprepared for the assault.
Ubuswa bwabayeho mu bijyanye n'ubutasi ku ruhande rwacu burigaragaza ku buryo ingabo zacu zabuze amakuru ahagije ngo zibashe guhangana n'abarwanyi b'umutwe wa 23. Ibi byatumye abasirikare bacu batari biteguye bahondagurwa bikabije ku rugamba.
Coordination between the South African National Defence Force, regional allies, and the Congolese military was inadequate, leading to a fragmented response and over-reliance on local forces that quickly collapsed under pressure.
Imikoranire n'imiyoborere y'ingabo za Afrika y'Epfo n'izindi bari bafatanyije hamwe n'igisirikare cya Repubulika ya Demokarasi ya Kongo nyirizina byari biri ku rwego ruciritse cyane maze bituma bose bakubitirwa hamwe mu buryo bukabije cyane.
The SNDF response can also be criticized for its sluggishness, allowing M23 to seize strategic positions before effective action was taken.
Imyitwarire igayitse y'ingabo za Afrika y'Epfo kandi yatumye zigaragaza ubugwari n'ubunyanda byatumye umutwe wa 23 ubasha kubafata bugwate mu birindiro byabo mbere yuko babasha kwirwanaho nkuko byari bikwiye.
Political considerations were often overshadowed military necessities, limiting our forces' effectiveness.
Uburyo abanyepolitiki bacu babyitwayemo byabaye imbogamizi ku gisirikare cyacu bituma kidahabwa ibyangombwa nkenerwa bikuye ngo zibashe kwitwara neza ku rugamba.
Leadership on the ground also failed to provide clear directives, resulting in disorganized retreats and unprepared casualties. These issues culminated in tragic losses.
Imiyoborere y'igisirikare ku kibuga cy'imirwano kandi nayo yananiwe kwereka neza abasirikare bacu umurongo bagomba gukurikiza maze bituma batsindwa mu buryo bw'akajagari ndetse bisanga mu gutsindwa batari biteze. Ibi byose byabaye nabyo byatumye abantu bacu batakaza ubuzima mu buryo buteye agahinda.
For over a decade, we have watched as the South African National Defence Force has been systematically weakened.
Mu myaka irenga 10 ishize twiboneye uburyo ingabo za Afrika y'Epfo zagiye zifatwa nabi aho ingengo y'imari zigenerwa yagabanyijwe cyane bituma abasirikare bacu batabasha kwiyubaka ngo bakore neza akazi kabo.
Budget cuts have crippled our military ability to function effectively. Aircrafts and helicopters that should provide air cover for our troops are grounded due to lack of maintenance.
Indege za gisirikare na kajugujugu byagakwiye gufasha abasirikare bacu kwirinda umwanzi biciye mu mirwano yo mu kirere ubu zose ziparitse hasi kuko zabuze uburyo buboneye bwo kuzitaho no kuzibungabunga.
The government has neglected its duty to ensure that our soldiers are adequately prepared and equipped for combat.
Guverinoma yacu yagaragaje imikorere mibi mu gufasha abasirikare bacu kuba biteguye bikwiye kandi bafite ibikoresho biboneye byabafasha mu gihe cy'imirwano.
This is despite the fact that this deployment has cost our government 2.3 billion since it began, but it does not end there.
Nubwo nta musaruro muzima ingabo zacu zatanze, kohereza abasirikare bacu muri Repubulika ya Demokarasi ya Kongo byadutwaye akayabo ka miliyari 2 na miliyoni 300, ariko ibyo ntacyo byamaze mu byukuri.
The defense sector has been ravaged by corruption. Officials at denial have looted and mismanaged funds, selling South Africa's defense technology to foreign entities. This is nothing short of treason.
Inzego zacu za gisirikare zamunzwe na ruswa zipfusha ubusa umutungo wagatumye tugira ikoranabuhanga rya gisirikare rikwiye. Ibi ni ibintu bikabije kandi biteye isoni.
At the same time, the Department of Defense has wasted over 250 million outsourcing IT services while ignoring existing in-house capabilities.
Ikindi kandi urwego rw'igisirikare rwapfushije ubusa miliyoni zirenga 250 rwajugunye mu bijyanye na serivisi z'ikoranabuhanga rwakuye hanze y'igihugu rwirengagije ko iryo koranabuhanga ryari risanzwe riri mu bushobozi bwacu imbere mu gihugu.
This is a blatant theft of state resources and it is our soldiers who pay the price.
ubu ngubu n'ubujura buteye isoni bw'umutungo wa leta kandi abasirikare bacu boherejwe muri Repubulika ya Demokarasi ya Kongo byarangiye ari bo bahuye n'izo ngaruka zose.
We must be clear. The deployment of our troops in the DRC is not about achieving peace. It is about sacrificing our soldiers for war that has no end inside.
Erega tugomba kuvugisha ukuri tudaciye ku ruhande ko kohereza abasirikare bacu muri Repubulika ya Demokarasi ya Kongo bitari ibijyanye no kubungamunga amahoro, ahubwo byari ugutangaho ibitambo abasirikare bacu mu ntambara itari ngombwa na gato.
This government continue to send them to die in foreign land, and when they do, their bodies are not even repatriated with the dignity they deserve.
Guverinoma yacu ikomeje kubohereza ngo bajye gupfira mu bihugu by'amahanga, kandi niyo bapfuye imirambo yabo ntizanwa byoroshye gukingurwa mu gihugu cyacu mu cyubahiro gikwiye.
We are still waiting for the bodies, even after the chief of defense said the bodies will come the following day.
Kugeza n'ubu turacyategereje kubona iyo mirambo, nubwo umugaba w'ingabo ejo bundi yari yavuze ko yagombaga kuzanwa ku munsi wakurikiyeho.
The South African National Defence Force soldiers who passed away in the last few weeks have still not arrived home, with several delays being blamed, which is unacceptable. The families of these fallen soldiers are left waiting, grieving and struggling for answers.
Abasirikare ba Afrika y'Epfo bapfuye mu byumweru bike bishize na n'ubu ntabwo baragera mu gihugu cyabo cy'amavuko. Ibi byose ni ibintu bidakwiye kwihanganirwa mu gihe imiryango y'abasirikare bacu bapfuye ikomeje kuba mu gahinda n'umubabaro udashira bakomeza gutegereza igihe bazabonera igisubizo.
The families of these fallen soldiers are left waiting, grieving and struggling for answers. Our troops be brought home immediately. We cannot allow more lives to be lost in a senseless conflict while corrupt politicians continue to loot and mismanage our defense resources. Bring them back home now.
Oya rwose nimukora ibishoboka byose abasirikare bacu bose bacyurwe vuba bataye muri Afrika y'Epfo. Ntabwo twakwemera ko ubuzima bwabo bukomeza gutekerera mu ntambara ishingiye ku makimbirane adasobanutse, mu gihe abayobozi bacu bamunzwe na ruswa bo bakomeje kurigisa no gupfusha ubusa umutungo w'inzego zacu za gisirikare. Mubazane mu rugo vuba rwose, nimubazane vuba na bwangu.
This past weekend, South Africa participated in a joint SADC and East African Community Summit in Tanzania to discuss DRC crisis. We agree that there must be ceasefire, and we agree that the chiefs of the military must come together to create a clear passage of the ceasefire.
Mu mpera z'iki cyumweru gishize Afrika y'Epfo yitabiriye inama yahuje umuryango wa SADC n'umuryango wa Afrika y'Uburasirazuba. Inama yabereye muri Tanzania kugira ngo baganire ku kibazo cy'umutekano muri Repubulika ya Demokarasi ya Kongo. Turemeranya ko hakwiye kubaho guhagarika imirwano, kandi ko abagaba b'ingabo bakwiye gukorana kugira ngo habeho urwo rugendo rwo guhagarika imirwano. Ibi byatangajwe na Julius Marema kuri uyu wa mbere, birakomeza gushyira abantu mu rujijo ku iherezo ry'abasirikare ba Afrika y'Epfo n'ab'ibindi bihugu bari bari kumwe mu muryango wa SADC, ndetse n'abasirikare bakomeretse kimwe n'imirambo y'abasirikare baguye muri Kongo bambutse bagaca ku mupaka w'u Rwanda munini uzwi nka Grande Barriere cyangwa se la Corniche, ariko mu by'ukuri bikaba bitazwi kugeza ubu aho baherereye ndetse n'impamvu batinze kugera mu bihugu byabo. Icyakora igihe bambukaga ku mupaka binjira mu Rwanda, hari amakuru yatugeragaho yavugaga yuko nta gahunda yari hari yuko bagomba guca ku kibuga cy'indege mpuzamahanga cya Kanombe, ahubwo byavugaga ko bagombaga guca ubutaka bagaca ku mupaka uzwi nka Cyanika berekeza mu gihugu cya Uganda. Hanyuma bikaba bitazwi mu by'ukuri inzira bagombaga gucamo burira indege kugira ngo bajye mu bihugu byabo.
Waba waragize inzozi zo kwigukaminuriza mu bihugu nk'Ubushinwa, Ubuhinde cyangwa Malaysia? Waba se warifuje kubona akazi keza mu bihugu nka Singapore, Philippines cyangwa Qatar? Umuturirwa Travel Solutions bagufasha gukabya izo nzozi ukabasha kuminuriza mu bihugu bitandukanye muri Aziya cyangwa ukahabona akazi keza. Ntibagufasha kubona ishuri cyangwa akazi gusa, kuko banagufasha mu rugendo rwo kubona visa bakaguherekeza muri urwo rugendo ruzatuma ukabya inzozi zawe. Abifuza gutembera mu birwa byiza bya Indonesia n'abifuza kuruhukira aha hantu nyaburanga bose barabafasha. ku bindi bisobanuro wabahamagara cyangwa ukabandikira kuri telefone ubona kuri ekran yawe.